Yes. So Mulkraj Anand wrote this novel in the year 1935, and by that time India used to be a strong believer in caste system. Still, casteism exists in our society, and because of this evil practice of society, India was divided in so many fragments and it's still divided. Even the moment we talk of India, one India, but we see even this system on the basis of which our society has been divided, particularly even Manu, Lord Manu, who is known as father of Hindus, the first one, first man from whom Hinduism started, who wrote Manu Smriti, a kind of constitution supposed to be followed by all Hindus, and he gave the system of Varna Vyavastha means entire society was divided in four parts: Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudras. And even Vedas tells that Brahmins took their origin from mouth of Brahma. They will be at the top in hierarchy of the society. Kshatriya took their origin from the arms of Brahma, so the they shall be at the second position in terms of superiority. And Vaishyas, who took their origin from stomach of Brahma, so they shall be treated on third position. And Shudras, they took their origin from thigh of Brahma, so they shall be treated at fourth position. And even there is another concept about this Varna Vyavastha, that on the basis of work division, on the basis of works performed by individuals, initially everybody was equal, and for running the society, some work was given to everybody, and those who were involved in teaching, involved in guiding, involved in counseling, they later on known as Brahmins. Those who were involved in protection, fighting, defense, whose duty was to protect the community, they were later on known as Kshatriya. Those whose duty was to do business, to do production, to feed the society, they are known as Vaishyas. And those who are unskilled and not suitable for all three above skills or tasks, they were deputed for the service of all the above three communities. So they are known as Sudras. There is another concept on the basis of color of skin. On the basis of color of skin, society was divided in four parts. Brahmins were of yellow color or maybe white color. Brahmins were of white color. Kshatriyas were of red color. Vaishyas were, Vaishya means the people who do some business, they were of yellow color. And those who were involved in services of humanity, they were of black color. So on the basis of the color of the skin, the society is divided in four parts. So this is a general conception according to Indian mythology, Indian belief system, Indian traditional belief system, that society was divided in four parts at least. And at ground level, when you will study the recent history, even when you will go through newspapers and violence among communities on the name of caste, you will find that apart from those four divisions, there are many other divisions which has been making a ditch in the society on the name of caste. So one of the malpractice, one of the adverse practice which can be called in human practice was untouchability. But you have, as if you have been the student of sociology, you must be knowing, having a basic concept about division of society. But for other who are not the students of sociology, for them I gave this brief context how to understand untouchability. So, because of this order of division of society, people standing at the top or second or third, they started considering themselves better than these Sudras, or those men whose skins were black, whose duty was to offer their services to the mankind. And after many years of that practice, they started being treated as an outcast. They started being treated as the one who is impure, whose touch can contaminate the personality of others. So, on that theme, our present writer, Mulkraj Anand, an Indian professor and novelist, wrote this novel, which became a classic, world classic, and it is now being treated as a reference material for discussing caste system, discussing untouchability. Few other names I would like to name, I would like to pronounce here, I would like to announce here. If you have an interest, you can study. There is another writer, Om Prakash Valmiki, because in India and particularly in English studies, in the field of English literature, Dalit literature is a separate genre. Dalit literature is now considered as one of the separate, aspect of English literature. So, in India, Om Prakash Valmiki, and I am fortunate that I have, I met with Om Prakash Valmiki in one of the conference at Dehradun, where he was working in refinery of Indian Petroleum. And that conference was on Dalit literature. He was invited there as a guest speaker. Me, along with, means I myself, along with my professor and my other fellow researchers, were fortunate to attend that meeting. And over there was a great discussion between my sir, my professor, and Om Prakash Valmiki. In that conference, I also presented one paper dealing with untouchability. So, to present the real sentiments of untouchability, Mulkraj Anand wrote this novel. How terrific, how dangerous this untouchability practice is for the society has been very effectively presented by Mulkraj Anand in the present novel. Bakha is the name of center. Let me show you the list of characters, or let me summarize it and then I'll show you. Bakha is the name of central character who is a young boy. Unfortunately, he hails from an untouchable family. He hails from a family who were Dalits, whose duty was to do the cleaning work of toilets. And the story goes back in 20s or 30s, 1920s or 30s, when there used to be British rule in India, and father of Bakha is Lakha. There is another character named Sohini, is sister of Bakha. So as Lakha has grown old, his routine or his profession was to work in a cantonment or work in a in a cantonment of British officers, and his duty was to clean their toilets. So he had considered his duty as a fate, and he got retired, or he has, as he has become old, so he stopped working. Now his son Bakha joined the same duty, but Bakha was not a mere Dalit. He was just like any other young boy. He had a dream to watch movies. He had a dream to wear fashionable clothes. He had a dream to sing filmy songs. I mean, he was just like any other young boy coming from an upper class family. But because of his origin from a Dalit family, he was mistreated many a time. So his agony, his plight has been narrated very beautifully by Mulkraj Anand. His sister was molested by one of the Brahmin. Perhaps his name is Pandit Tarak Ratna, or we'll see while discussing that story in detail. Pandit Tarak Ratna molests his sister, and when people assemble there, he says that girl, by using an abusive word, dare to touch me and pollute me. Means those days, and even today, those who have a strong belief in untouchability, they consider that if a Dalit touches him or touches their belongings, it will become polluted. So you can think how terrific, how inhuman treatment it was, how inhuman practice it was. So Bakha anyhow takes the revenge, but he was bounded by responsibilities, and he was bounded by the norms of society. He cannot do revolt. He cannot go beyond the existing norms. So in the last page of the novel, it has been presented by the novelist that Bakha decides to convert his religion, or two other options he has. So that's why what were three options he had, I'll tell you, and then we'll discuss the story in detail. Being disturbed by existing norms of the society, Bakha feels that this religion and this duty will keep me facing humiliation every day. Now either I will leave this job or I will convert this job. And those days in the story, it has been depicted that Bakha happened to hear one of the speech of Mahatma Gandhi, which was being delivered by Mahatma Gandhi while walking throughout the country and addressing the people, awakening them against British Raj, British rule. And in one of the discussion, in one of the speech of Mahatma Gandhi says that it is a malpractice, it is a misconception, it is a bad practice in the society because everybody on the earth is equal, and particularly these Dalits are not less than these Brahmins, Kshatriyas, and Sudras. They are people of God. He says, Gandhiji addressed one gathering in one of his speeches. He said that these Dalits are not Dalits to be treated as the lowest stakeholder of the society. No, they are people of God. Or in Hindi, he said they are Harijana. People of God means Harijana, people of God, man of God. So he got an inspiration that if something like that happens in future, that people start believing in Gandhi's ideology, and if in coming future, if something like that establishes, that people start, means people from other three upper class start treating us like human beings, and they start treating us like an equal citizen of the society, then my survival or people of my community can survive. Otherwise, either I will convert my religion. And those days of mass conversion from Hindu, from Indian religious belief was being done to Christianity. Means Christian missionaries were there in India, and particularly they were converting such people who had been mistreated by their own community member. So Bakha was also ready to convert as a Christian because there is no dissimilarity, there is no mistreatment in Christian religion. He says there is an equal treatment, there is a sense of equality in Christian religion. So he was ready to convert his religion from Hindi to Christian. He also discussed his problem with one of British official. He says, "Ki, sir, because of the job I do, because of the kind of duty I perform, I am being treated as an untouchable. So that job of toilet cleaning, I will quit because of my association with this job, I am being treated as a Dalit or an untouchable. So this job is not good for me." So that British officer said to him, "Ki Bakha, no need to worry. There is an advancement, there is a technology about to come where which will boycott the role or duty of a toilet cleaner." And that British officer perhaps talked about automatic flush system. And of course, nowadays in our home we use automatic flush system. No toilet cleaner, or even we are not required to clean our toilet manually. Those days, it was being performed by one untouchable. So that British officer also created a hope or developed a hope in the mind of Bakha ki one technology will replace your task, and that way you need not worry. Definitely in days to come, your burden will be released. But anyhow, throughout the novel, with different episodes and different incidents, Mulkraj Anand has tried to express his observation of society, particularly based on the real life experiences of untouchables. He has very beautifully presented through the story of Untouchable with the help of persona like Baka, Laka, Sohini and all. So we have some time left and I'll show you that PPT and I will involve each one of you to read the slides so that because the theme and major finding of the novel has already been discussed, but for a systematic detail that PPT will help you out. So, okay, now tell me, is my screen visible to you?
Yes, sir.
So these are some highlights. One of the statement by Baka. They think we are mere dirt because we clean their dirt. So this line itself tells much more about the sentiments and feelings of people hailing from or belonging to an untouchable or Dalit family. Mulkraj Anand has written this. Perhaps this is an imaginary picture of Baka. Baka is name of the central character. See now, no need to read this slide because this has already been discussed by me, Manu and all. Rig Veda and all. Yes, this has already been discussed by me. Brahmin, Kshatriya, Shudra. Uh, yes, M.P. Gandhi. Mulkraj Anand. He died in 2004. Recently, he died means, of course, this is 2021, 15 years back, 15, 16 years back, he died. Okay. This a slide I wish either Manisha or Priya can read. First slide.
Bakha is a precocious boy of 18, humble yet proud and even attractive, yet nonetheless he is an outcast in India's caste system and untouchable. The sensitive and nuanced portrayal of Baka as a complex human being with limits and aspirations, he clearly strives to attain a life beyond his station, adopting Western dressing style from the second-hand, discarded motley of British military clothing that he wears. He is known to be distasteful yet diligent about his work as a sweeper. He is modern, introspective, and revolutionary in his ideas. He feels that if poverty is elevated, they can free themselves from the slavery and discrimination which is deeply rooted in the nation and is inspired by M.K. Gandhi's speeches on the issue.
Sohini. Manisha, you read the character of Sohini. Are you there? Okay, you are in library. So Priya, you read it.
Sohini. Bakha's sister Sohini is probably the most important character in the novel because she is the passive sufferer. It is the real picture of the outcast women. She not only exemplifies caste exploitation but also sex exploitation. She has in her a kind of docile and peaceful bearing. Sohini behaves unlike other outcast women. She is shown to be intelligent and beautiful, but she has not enough clothes to protect her beauty from the hungry eyes of the males. She is patient, devoted, and personifies object humility, yet is against exploitation as she did not keep mum while Pandit Kalinath tries to harass her. She represents the female youth at the time of independence.
Yes, I would like to correct here कि वो पंडित तारक रत्न नहीं है, पंडित कालीनाथ है, who tried to seduce her, molest her, and she presented her harassment before the society as well as her brother. Lakha, read it.
Lakha. Bakha's father Lakha is the symbol of passive submission to the exploitation by the high caste. He represents the force of tradition, orthodoxy, and conservation. He does not blame the high caste for the exploitation, but blames himself for this fate. He believes that his birth in the low caste is the result of their sins committed by him in the previous birth. He does not get angry even when Bakha tells him about Sohini's molestation. Bakha's thought of retaliation against the established system becomes significant when we compare it with the passive submission of Lakha to it.
Okay, now read this slide also. Pandit Kalinath.
Pandit Kalinath. Pandit Kalinath is the priest of the temple in the town. This so called custodian of Hindu religion and culture turns out to be an ill humored devil. Though he is a priest, he lacks the strength of spirituality. His moral weakness is exposed when he tries to seduce a sweeper girl. Through the character of Kalinath, Anand brings out the underlying hypocrisy of the high caste advocates of the so called morality and culture. It has been a custom in most of the villages of India to convert the low caste girls into Devdasis. The girls are married to the god but are used by the priest to satisfy their sexual desires. Those who firmly believe that the touch of the outcast defile them do not get defiled when they sleep with the untouchable women. What a system!
So perhaps a plot is not required to be read, but for your reference purpose, I'll share the original text. If you means if both of you or all you all three, if you have an interest to read the complete novel, I can share its original text. You can read it. It may take one day, maybe a couple of hours, but you will get through the original storyline and so many minute descriptions and narrations related to the story you will come through. So no need to read it, but simply I wanted to make you aware of the theme, plot, and characters. And theme and main story has already been described by me, and Priya has made uh, a description of the major characters of this novel by reading these plots. So that will be sufficient. Yeah, these are some instances, and of course, ability is there. Two things I would like to discuss at the end of this presentation. Ambedkar and Jyotiba Phule and other leaders. Okay, so with this, very brief discussion on the novel, as I tell you that this is one of the full length novel and it requires 7 8 hours study when you want to go through the original text. But at surface level, the character and theme and the title itself is very relevant for a discussion on caste practices, on caste system, and how bad it is, how inhuman it is, and it was in the past, as very nicely presented by Mulkraj Anand in his present novel entitled Untouchable. So, particularly talking, yeah, definitely I'll share its original text. If you feel you can go through it. Otherwise, the PPT which I shared today, I'll share its link, and by going through that PPT only you can get an idea about entire novel and the questions which may be asked in your examination. Maybe it may be objective type or maybe subjective type. All kind of questions can be answered from this PPT, but for having a detailed analysis and understanding, you can go through the text which I'll share today itself. So as whole, it can be said that Untouchable was one creation, one masterpiece by Mulkraj Anand, which opened the eyes of leaders, big stakeholders, and hypocrites from upper strata of the society who had been practicing caste system to fulfill their selfish motive, and knowingly or unknowingly they have been doing such a great level of injustice with a kind of man who is made of same flesh and bone, who is man of God, who is just like us, just at the name of caste or at the name of kind of duties that person performs, that mistreatment was there in the society. And that's why you can take that novel as one of the source of inspiration for bringing special provision of reservation in your constitution. I am emphasizing that this novel was written in 1935, and in 1940s, means 1942 onwards, after a meeting by Mahatma Gandhi Swaraj Bharat Chodo Andolan, when British government gave its consent, particularly after World War II, when British government decided, okay, you make your party and present a government which can run the country with stability, then we can allow you to go for your home rule. And when it was decided that okay, we will be provided home rule, so for that a constitution is required. So the name, very famous name, B.R. Ambedkar, the most intellectual person of his time, not only in India but all over the world, he belongs to a Dalit family. He belongs to an untouchable family. When you will go through his autobiography, you will find that the kind of practices, the kind of experiences faced by Baka was already faced by B.R. Ambedkar. And one name I told you, Om Prakash Valmiki, who also was from Dalit community or untouchable community. He also faced similar kind of tortures during his young age, during his school times, during when he was a child. He has written his autobiography, Juthan. I tell you, Juthan is autobiography of Om Prakash Valmiki. Even if you want, I can share that Juthan also for your reference purpose, although it is nowhere connected with our syllabus. So Juthan he has written, and many writers from Maharashtra, because Dalit movement, Dalit Panther movement, Dalit consciousness started from Maharashtra, particularly from the time of B.R. Ambedkar, and so many people came in his support, and many poets, many writers, many thinkers, Jyotiba Phule and all, they came and they raised their voice. There is one Indian thinker named, I'm forgetting her name. She wrote an essay. Its title was, actually I heard her a month back, but I know about her theory, and that theory was, can subaltern speak? Can a Dalit speak? क्या दलित अपनी बात समाज में रख सकता है? क्या एक अनटचेबल अपनी बात, मतलब कैन, क्या उसको बोलने का अधिकार है? Because for centuries he or she had been suppressed. और सबाल्टर्न में तो लेडीज को भी, विमेन स्टडीज को भी लाया जाता है, फेमिनिज्म, मतलब जो फेमिनिस्ट है वो भी, because at many places women's had also been tormented and tortured by males, male dominated society में. So at some place females are also put in category of subalterns. They are put at margin, not in the center. तो कुछ इस तरह के आइडियाज को रखते हुए दलित लिटरेचर एंड इस तरह से सबाल्टर्न स्टडीज came in existence, and the present work Untouchable by Mulkraj Anand is one of the important texts. So that's it for today from my side. एक discussion और मैं कर लूँगा in the light of the kind of question may be asked, and for detailed study I will share its text. So that's it from my side today. If anything you have to ask or any clarification, you can. If not, then after 5 minutes I'll send you another link for literature.